You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years.
Welcome back to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. This is Trevor Wade. I'm the Coonhound Program Manager at UKC, and I'm joined today by the Director of Hunting Ops, Alan Gingrich. What's going on today, Alan?
Well, another day down here in the studio, man. This is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to this one here. We're going to cover a different demographic for reproducers. It's not the same as what you're going to see in the magazine. You're going to see a lot of the same dogs, but doesn't have the same criteria.
Yeah, this is almost an annual thing now. This is the third year in a row that we've tried to do some sort of reproducers podcast. The first year went directly out of the magazine. Last year, I was able to get them to run something that got the top reproducers ever with no criterias, no age limitations. And this year, kind of put a different spin on it. We're going to talk about the top 10 males and females of each breed of all time, regardless of age or anything, how many pups they had, just based on how many hunt-titled dogs they produced. And then also we're going to take a look at who were the top-performing dogs of the past calendar year. So we're talking about from basically January of 2024 through December of 2024, how many hunt-titled dogs they had in that year. Let's kind of see who's next.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I kind of like this. You know, you always have the reproducers list to look at in the magazine that we publish monthly. But this is going to be a little different twist on it here, and yeah, so let's get started with it.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of information to sort through here, and we're gonna kind of break it down here breed by breed. We'll start out here with the black and tans, and this may seem a little bit redundant. We kind of have gone over top black and tan males before. Not sure if we did a whole top 10, but we're gonna start over the top males, and the first place black and tan male ever that produced 1,441 pups total, but the important thing here, 127 hunt champions. So that means they either made night champion, grand night champion Hall of Fame for the newer ones, something like that. Was grand night champion, grand champion, Cypress Break, set 'em up ace. Ace was born back in January of 1991 and was bred by Eddie Muse. And Ace was out of grand night champion Laffoon's Super Sting and Laffoon's Sugar Cookie. Last owner on record here, Jimmy Reese. Obviously, I know switched hands a little bit, but Jimmy Reese of Pikeville, Tennessee, was the last one to own Ace, and just a name synonymous with a black and tan breed. Number that's going to be hard to catch. There are a couple here, as we'll see, that are within shouting distance. Last litter out of Ace was in October of 2015, so those dogs are 10 years old now. Not sure if there's any more semen floating around there at him, but 127 may be his final number, but something to be dang proud of there.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe this dog's already 30 plus years old, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, and name that. I was never a black and tan guy, but set him up Ace. Everybody knows that name.
Absolutely.
Number one of your list there. Number two, this dog sired a total of 860 pups. 108 of them are hunt champions. Last litter we registered out of him was in October of this last year, and this is going to be grand night champion Kentucky River Batman. He was born in July of 2008, bred by Tony Grubb, and the sire of Batman was grand night champion Crockett's Black Newt, and his mother was grand night champion Kentucky River Chigger. He is owned last here by Shane and Micah Ayers of McKee, Kentucky. Yeah, 860 pups, 108 champions for Kentucky River Batman.
Yeah. Last litter, October 24, 5 hunt champions this past year. Could tell us he may not be done there at 108. We'll see if he has the steam to catch old Ace. Third place here, and we're going back in time a little bit here. This is grand night champion Tennessee Fiddler. Fiddler was actually born in March of 1977 and was bred by William Stepp Jr. 1,691 pups for Fiddler with 79 total hunt champions. And we got to think, 1977, we're kind of early on in the hunt game here as far as license events being on out there. Still new yet. Fiddler was out of a pretty famous cross here, Grand Night Champion Tennessee Wheeler and Champion Night Champion Harness's Queen. And he was last owned by Keith Conaway and the legend here, Tam Young of Adamsville, Tennessee. Last litter, June of 1989. I think it's safe to say that 79 will be that final number for Fiddler.
Yeah, probably so. Probably not going to be any more pups out of him. That's another name that's synonymous to the breed for sure. Yep. All right, next up on your list here, 4th place overall is Grand Champion Hurricane Creek Ugly Stick. He's born in January of 2008, bred by Mr. Jim Kilburn out of dual Grand Champion Rough Creek's Easy Thunderstick HTX. And his mother was Grand Night Champion Yoder's Fox River Amazing Amy. He was last owned by Jason and Judy Short of Withfield, Virginia. 274 pups is what they have out of Ugly Stick by our records. 75 of them are hunt champions. That's actually a pretty good percentage right there. 75 hunt champions. Last litter registered out of him on record we have in December of 2019. Jim Kilburn, he was used to always see him at Black and Tan days, but the mother to this dog, Fox River Amazing Amy, is a dog that I'd hunted with before back in the day, and man, there was some of those females that he had him up there in doggone in Iowa. What's his name up there? Had the Dan dog.
It's not Eagly, is it?
No, not Eagly. Doggone it. But anyways, those were some nice females. That's a nice female there for sure. But yeah, 4th place overall for Ugly Stick.
Yeah, won this past year, so still adding to the number a little bit. 5th place here, Grand Night Champion Nelson's Northern Rex. Rex was born in February of 1996. Bred by Bill Schinker, and let's see, born in 1996. That would have been just shortly after the World Championship run of the sire here, World Champion, Grand Night Champion JNR Northern Buck 2, and the female here, Grand Champion Fox River Mandy. So there we got another Fox River dog already. Last owners here, Jeff Nelson and Hayward Ivy. Jeff is up in Northern Illinois. Hayward Ivy's down in Georgia. Rex's numbers pretty good here. 496 total pups, 69 of them made hunt champions, and his last litter was back in June of 2006. So that's a ways off now, almost 19 years. So,
yep. 6th overall on your list, Bad to the Bones Kane. That was a dual Grand Champion, Grand Night Champion. He was born in 2000, bred by Stephen Gamble of Mississippi, I think Stephen was, out of Grand Night Champion, Grand Champion Bad to the Bones Stone, and his mother was a Night Champion Bad to the Bones Mini Pearl. This dog was last owned by Dean Miller of Berlin, Ohio, along with Jimmy Stidman. 505 puppies. 60 of them were hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 2017. So 505 pups, 60 of them were champions for Bad to the Bones Kane.
7th place here, we have Grand Night Champion Dark Hollow Hobos Hoss. Hoss sired 927 pups, with 56 of them making hunt champions. He was born in July of 1990, bred by Johnny Gilliam out of Night Champion Brock's Hobo and Smith's Dark Hollow Sadie, and was last owned by Bruce Gilliam and John Smith down in Alabama. Hoss's last litter, December of 2011. Not sure if there's any more of that semen out there anywhere, but we may have seen the last of old Hoss, but he was a sure enough good one.
Yeah, here in 8th place we have dual Grand Champion Dylan's Doolin Dan, born in June of 99, bred by Phoebe Hoskins. He was off of Night Champion B&B's Black Hoss and Phoebe's Ragin' Bell. Last was owned by Gerald Yoder and Dylan Fields of Norwood, Missouri. It was Michael Fields. I was trying to think of his name out there. Yeah, I apologize for that, but Michael Fields had those Fox River dogs. And some good females. He also owned Dan here at one time, and but Gerald is out of Norwood, Missouri. Dan produced. I'm talking about Dylan's Doolin Dan. He produced 392 puppies, 54 hunt champions to date. Last litter was registered several years ago in 2021. So Doolin Dan, that's a name that's he was very popular stud dog for a lot of years.
Yeah, I was interested to see.
And a good hunting dog in his own right.
Yeah, absolutely. Was interesting to see that he had a hunt champion surface this past year, and so did this next dog. Both of them born there in the mid to late 90s, and this 9th place dog that produced a hunt champion this year, dual Grand Schinker's Smokin' Jet. And this dog was born all the way back in December of 1994 and was bred by Mr. Bill Schenker. The dog was out of Grand Night Champion Harness's High Roller and Dual Grand Fox River Mandy, owned last by Mr. Bill Schenker of Oswego, Kansas. For Jet, 791 pups sired, 51 of them made hunt champions, and his last litter, like I said, September of 2022, so still some of them floating around out there.
There you go. Bill passed away here several years ago, but I remember one of his females was the first dog to earn performance points in UKC.
Oh, wow.
One of his black and tan females.
Not surprising.
10th dog, last dog on your list here, Bowers, Kansas Jr. That's a name that you hear a lot of. Grand Night Champion dog, born in April of 1999, bred by Blaze Bauer. This dog was off of Dark Hollow Hobo's Hoss and Bowers, Kansas Jewel, both of them Grand Nights. Owned last year by Blaze Bauer and Bruce Gilliam of Woodville, Alabama. He sired 398 total pups registered, 49 of which are hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 2016 for Bowers, Kansas Jr.
Yeah. Out of Hobo's Hoss, who we already mentioned, and Kansas Jewel, who we will mention here shortly. So was bred to be on this list. Now let's talk about some males who excelled this past year, who are making a run here at it. And basically what it is these males here sired the most dogs that titled out the past calendar year, like I talked about in the intro. First place for black and tan males this past year, National Dual Champion, Grand Night Champion 4, Grand Champion 3, Gilman's Rebels Redneck Roll. He was born back in April of 2018 and was sired by Confirmation Champion, Field Trial Champion, Grand Night Champion 2, Grand Champion Gilman's Kentucky Rebel, and Night Champion Gilman's Late Night Storm, and is owned by Mr. David Gilman in Fielden, Illinois. This year, Roll, 6 pups were able to make hunt champions over the course of the year, and that brings him up to 10 total. So, good start for Roll's reproduction career.
There you go. Second, again, same, my second one above, Kentucky River Batman. 2008 was his birth date. Crockett Black Newt, Kentucky River Chigger, the Dam, Shane and Micah Ayers, McKee, Kentucky. He sired five of his pups made champions this year, which brought his total up to 108. So he was second on the 2024 list here.
I know they've had
some pups.
They've had some good ones out of Batman that they've bred several times over the past few years, but it seems like people are still going back to the well, and Batman, he keeps climbing these ranks. We got a few here tied for third that we'll mention quickly. Grand Night Champion 3, Grand Champion Patrick's Black River Tex, a dog that was just in the final cast of Autumn Oaks this past year. It's a 2017 model out of Black River Lightman and Rapper's Black River Brandy, owned by Mr. Ed Hillenbrand of Sydney, Ohio. He has 3 pups finish out this year, and that makes 9 total hunt champions for Tex.
There you go. And the next 2 that we're going to mention are also tied with 3 pups that championed out this year. Here's Bad to the Bone Champ, Grand Night Champion, born in 2016. He was off of Cooper's Storm and Ike. That's a dual grand. And his mother was a Grand Night Champion blues band's Gypsy Woman, James McCullough and Michael Roten of Haiti, Missouri, I guess you pronounce that. Yeah, 3 pups brings his total up to five champions in his offspring count.
And kind of rounding out that tie there is Grand Night Champion 2, Grand Champion Sycamore Black Sting. This is a May 2017 model out of Dual Grand Carly's Sycamore Mose and Wascom's Set 'em Up Stings Lily. Current owners on the dog are Bill Walks and Mike Walker, and they're up in West Liberty, Iowa. Bill is, like you said, 3 dogs made hunt champion this year, bringing his total up to 5 altogether. So,
yeah. Congratulations, all those sire owners this year. Got pups out there earning those titles and such. But, yeah, that's a pretty, just the list of males there for ever, top 10 ever, and then the top 5 from last year. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we'll now talk about the females a little bit, and we're going to go more in depth in females here than we probably ever have on this podcast as far as top ever go. And first place ever, continuing it on here, is Dual Grand Puke Box Annie. This is a dog that was born back in July of 2007 and was bred by Pete Mullis and Corey Bass. Dogs out of Grand Night Champion Kansas Jr., talked about that dog already, and Dual Grand Rough Creek Little Land, last owned by Jason and Judy Short of Westville, Virginia. 43 pups on the ground for Annie, 23 hunt champions. Her last litter was back in December of 2016, so 9 years ago.
That's better than 50% right there. 43 total, 23 of them, over half of them are titled dogs. Pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Tied for second here, we have dual grand champion Crockett Black Wendy. She had one pup that titled out this year, I guess, but she was born in December of 2012. So she's up there, bred by Lewis Dean out of Grand Champion Crockett's Black Kozar, and Dean's Black Cat Bottom Wendy is the mother. Last owned by Preston and Steve Null of Walnut, Mississippi. 21 hunt champions out of the total of 50 pups that she raised, or that she had 50 pups, 21 hunt champions. Last litter in August of 2021. Crockett Black Wendy.
Yeah, chance with the pups that age that she's liable to catch Annie. We'll see how it shakes out, but regardless, she's made her name on the breed history here.
Yep.
Also tied for second is a female you've heard a lot about over the years, Grand Night champion Kentucky River Chigger. She was born back in November of 2001 at a litter bred by Steve Holloway that was out of Grand Night champion Dark Hollow Teague and Grand Night champion Holloway's Tennessee Black Chigger. Last owner on Chigger's record, Tony Grubb down in Rockholds, Kentucky. Out of 41 pups that we have on record, 21 of them made hunt champions. Her last litter was way back in May of 2010.
Fourth place, Coulter's Ringtail Genie. She was a Grand Night champion, born in 2006, bred by Reese Coulter. She was off of Holdings Northern Rocket. That was a Grand Night champion of Allen Holdings. I remember he used to win a lot back in the day. Everywhere, all across the country, he won a lot with that dog. Night champion Coulter's Kinetic KT was the mother, last owned by Reese Coulter of New London, Missouri. She had a total of 53 pups, 17 hunt champions to date, and then her last litter was registered in 2015. 17 hunt champions for Coulter's Ringtail Genie.
Here's a dog I alluded to just a minute ago here in fifth place, Grand Night champion Bowers, Kansas Jewel. Jewel had 16 hunt champions out of her 61 pups. She was born back in February of 1996, again here bred by Mr. Bill Schinker out of the world champion, Grand Night champion Northern Buck 2 and Fox River Mandy. So at least the same cross as Nelson's Northern Rex that we talked about a little bit ago. Last owner we had on record for Jewel was Blaze Bauer, that Kansas line of dogs down there in Girard, Kansas. Last litter June of 2006.
Yeah, there you go. That's a dog I heard a lot about the time I started hunting or was really into it. Sixth place overall, Night champion Green's Track Down Zip, 1985 model, bred by James Kirkland and Herb Logan. This dog was her sire was Grand Night champion Kirkland and Logan's Gunner, and the mother was Grand Night champion Logan's Black Zip. Last owned by Dale Green of Castalia, Iowa. She had a total of 69 puppies, 15 of which were hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 1996. Talking about Green's Track Down Zip.
Here in seventh place, we have grand champion Max Treetop Kate, born all the way back in August of 1980. So I think that makes her the elder statesman of this black and tan list here, at least by a year or two. It was bred out of a litter out by Donald and Ivan Darlin. They made a cross between night champion Guthrie's Deacon and Kirk and Logan's Black Jim. This Kate had 65 pups with 14 of them making hunt champions. And like I said, last litter all the way back in August of 1989. That's the year after our system was, our online system was booted up, I believe.
Tied for eighth place, Grand Night champion Fox River Ruby HTX. This dog was born in February of 2003, bred by John Welsh. Off a dual grand champion Schenker's Smokin' Jet, and the mother was a dual grand Hargus's Magic D, was last owned by Mike Fields and Gabriel Koulos of Little Falls, Minnesota. Mike Fields is there in Iowa. Gabriel must be in Little Falls, Minnesota. There are 51 puppies total, 12 hunt champions. Last litter registered in 2012 for Fox River Ruby.
Also here tied for eighth place, we have Hyatt's Moonlight Kate, the dog that was born in October of 2006 out of Baker's Black Hollow Danny Boy and Jay Baker's Preacherville Molly. That was a litter bred by Jacob Baker. Kate last owned by Tony Barnes down in Broadhead, Kentucky. Out of the 22 pups that she had, 12 of them made hunt champions. So, again, a pretty good percentage there. Last litter back in 2015.
Yeah, then we have 3 dogs here tied for 10th, all of which have 11 hunt champions. The first one here, Grand Night Champion Meinhardt's Tiger Lily. That's a dog I remember hearing quite a bit about. Yeah. Born in April of 1981, so that's been a good while ago. Bred by John Bauer and off of Night Champion Robertson's Little Deacon. And the mother was Meinhardt Sylvia. So just look at here, the Night Champion back in those days in the 80s was a big deal. Last owned by Carl Meinhardt of Russellville, Arkansas. Carl, anybody that knows the Black and Tans knows Carl, very influential in the association and also obviously breeding dogs. And from Russellville, Arkansas, 59 puppies, 11 hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 1990. Meinhardt's Tiger Lily.
And I'll be candid, whenever I was compiling information, I was thinking about just doing a top 5 for the females here. And I started out with Black and Tans, and I saw Tiger Lily's name, and I thought, man, that's one you almost have to mention when you talk about top reproducers of the breed and dogs who had an impact on the breed.
Yep.
Also here tied for 10th, another dog that, man, we heard a lot about in my part of the country down in southeast Tennessee, and that's Grand Night Champion Flippo's Driving Miss Ruby. She was born in July of 1990 and bred by Larry Prince. He made a cross out of Grand Night Champion Wallace's Black Mac and Grand Night Champion Prince's Black Rachel. Jerry Flippo down of Tullahoma, Tennessee was the owner of Ruby, and out of the 30 pups, 11 of them made hunt champions. I know she had a couple good crosses, but the one down in my part of the country, the one with two-time Albert, a lot of blood flowing down there still out of that cross.
Night Champion Rough Creek Smoking Spaz? Spaz? Okay, yep. Spaz. Born in May of 2002, bred by Donald Spangler out of dual Grand Champion Schenker's Smoking Jet, and the mother is a Night Champion Spangler's Set 'em Up Molly. This dog was last owned by James Stidham Jr. of Ford, Virginia. 35 total pups here, 11 hunt champions. Last litter registered in 2010. Rough Creek Smoking Spaz.
And let's take a look at who the top females of this past year. We have a couple here tied for first with 3 titled pups each this past year. First one, champion, Grand Night Champion, Batman's Blackberry Brandy. September of 2012 Hound out of Batman, who we've talked about a couple times, and Dual Grand Santa Fe Black Bottom, HTX. This dog's owned by Tim Cannon and John Daly. They're both out of Arkansas. And like I said, 3 pups titled out this year, makes 5 total. So she's not far off that 11 mark.
Yeah, another one with 3 total pups this last year. Dean's Bad to the Bone Spooky, non-titled dog there. She was a 2015 model. Owner was sired by Bad to the Bones Tex. And mother was Cumberland River Wendy. Bill Walks of West Liberty, Iowa is the owner. Same thing here, 3 pups, and that brings her total up to 5 as well.
Couple here tied for, I guess you would say, third for the year. First, Conrad's Whistling Dixie, April of 2019 model out of Dual Grand Ice Cube and Mackey Hills, Pennsylvania Peach. This dog's owned by William and Gavin Conrad. They're over in Rich Hill, Missouri. 2 titled pups this year, makes their total 3 for historical.
Yeah, also with multiple pups titled this year, Douglas's True Grit Daisy May, a 2016 model off of Dual Grand Douglas's Abner and Stouts Creek Hooker Up, owned by Josh Douglas of Woodlawn, Tennessee, and had the 2 pups that earned the titles this year. Those were her first 2 on her record as being titled pups.
Yeah, so it's there's your wrap up your Black and Tans for now. So. Hey, Alan, I don't know if you've been messing around with this new Houndsman Advantage app at all, but I've been playing with it some, and it has some really cool features on it. One, it has the interactive scorecard view where you can assign strike and tree points at the touch of a button, and it automatically totals your scores after each set of points are scored and valued.
Yeah, no, I like it as well. Some of the features that I like is that you can access the rules and that it comes with a search function to easily find any specific rule. Also like that there's a place for your dog's registration numbers, and you can store pictures of your easy entry cards. I like that you can track 2 dogs' performances when out pleasure hunting. You'll find some analytics on your dogs. You can record their accuracy, win percentages, and a whole lot of things like that.
No more lying here on this app. The last thing about the scorecard I'll talk about is it has the summary view as well, where you can see the total points you have and the pending points that you have, along with tree timers for each dog. So it's going to come in handy for judges as well. So check it all out on the new Houndsman Advantage app. All right, now let's take a look here at our blue tick coonhounds, and we're going to again start out with our top males ever. Remember, no parameters here. The only thing, they just had to have the most hunt champions ever in the UKC's registry. So we'll start out with our first place dog, and this dog sired 914 pups, and 97 of them made hunt champions. And this is Grand Night champion Houndsman's Southern Blue Hawk. Hawk was born back in May of 1981, bred by Tim Massey, out of a cross between Night Champion Houndsman's Blue Rebel and Champion Grand Night Champion Houndsman's Blue Carol, and last owned by Mr. Lonnie Houndsman of Tecumseh, Missouri. We haven't seen a litter out of Hawk since January of 1990, so this is probably his final tally, but won't be the last time we see Lonnie. He had a good line of stud dogs here, all in consecutive look like, but Hawk takes the cake as far as a top reproducer ever.
Grand Night Champion Northern Blue Jet 5. There's that Northern Blue name I knew we'd come across when we hit the blue ticks here, and here he is, the first one we're seeing at number 2. Born in July of 1987, he was a Grand Night Champion, bred by Ron Wigman out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. This dog was sired by Grand Night Champion Northern Blue Jet 4, and the mother was Night Champion Hoosier CC Lady 2. It was last owned by Ed Mead and Rick Meyer of Albion, Michigan. That was the late Ed Mead. I bet we'll see his name a time or two here going through these blue ticks. 967 total pups sired. 88 of them are hunt champions. Last litter registered in 2018. So we mentioned that last litter registered here in 2018. So technically it could be, I don't know what that litter was, but technically probably some dogs that are, still
living.
Yeah, hunt 5-6 years old,
Yeah.
So yeah, Northern Blue Jet 5, second overall.
Yeah, I kind of want to include that because we also see the dog born in 1987. That tells us that there was at least some semen. Is there some more floating around? Some of you blue tick guys probably know better than us, and not what we're trying to figure out, but at least there's the possibility of it out there. So could be adding to his final tally is all that tells us.
Ron Wigman, he was a breeder here, and he was an auctioneer over there, and I always think of this when I see his name. One thing I think of, me and my buddy Terry Coulter went over there to buy a dog for him. We drove over there to his office in Fort Wayne, and he reached in his desk and got out a wad of cash like in the middle of the 1990s. I won't disclose how much it was, but it was a lot. I've never carried that much cash in a paper sack before to go buy a dog.
Ooh,
we went and got the dog, and he did really well with that dog.
Yeah. Awesome. Third place here, we have Grand Night Champion, Grand Champion Smiley's Blue Rambo 2. Rambo 2, born in April of 1992, out of Champion Grand Night Champion Slife's Blue Rambo and Champion Grand Night Champion Smiley's Misty Blue. So that was a litter bred by Marcia and Lonnie Smiley. Last owner was actually Lonnie Smiley down in Leslie, Arkansas. Rambo 2, 612 pups sired, 74 hunt champions. That puts him third overall. Last litter back in 2001.
You wonder, it makes you wonder of dogs like this. This was a dog that I remember seeing the name a lot of, if they ever have stored any semen out of this dog.
Right.
Or some of these earlier dogs or older dogs. Next one, same thing. Night Champion Smoky River JBS Chief. It's another one you saw a lot back, and you still see in pedigrees today, way down the list generally. But he was born in December of 1987, bred by Mr. Ronnie Wentland out of Night Champion Dry Fork Blue Spud and Smoky River BB's J-Bell. Last owned by the late Warren Hoslauer of Antlers, Oklahoma. 793 total pups registered out of him, 71 hunt champions. Last litter was registered 25 years ago in 2000. Smoky River JBS Chief, tied for fourth.
Also here tied for fourth, and when I alluded to Lonnie earlier, I kind of knew this was coming. Another one of his dogs here, Grand Night Champion Houndsman's Southern Blue Scout, born in February of 1988, bred by Mike chore out of the first place dog here, Grand Night Champion Uchman's Southern Blue Hawk and Night Champion, Grand Champion Chore's Blue Weedy. And Lonnie Uchman was the last owner of this dog as well, out of Tecumseh, Missouri. 657 pups for Scout, 71 hunt champions, and again, last litter back in 1999.
Just keep it right in the Uchman family here for the next dog on the list. Grand Night Champion Uchman's Southern Blue Hornet. He was born in August of 1996, bred by Kenny Cook out of Grand Night Champion Uchman's Southern Blue, what's this name here? Blue Scout, actually, and Night Champion Cook's Blackwood's Bluebell. He was owned by Lonnie Uchman of Tecumseh. There are 678 pups for Hornet. 65 of them were hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 2007.
Got to think here, that's 3 generations in a row that Lonnie here has in the top 10 ever. 6th, tied for 4th, and 1st place overall. So what a run.
Yeah, that speaks for itself right there.
7th place here, we have a national Grand Night Champion of Autumn Oaks Grand Night Champion, Northern Blue Levi. Levi was born back in July of 1989 out of a litter bred by James Grubb. Out of actually our second place dog here, Grand Night Champion Northern Blue Jet 5 and Northern Blue Crystal. Last owned by Mr. Ron Taylor down in Gosport, Indiana. 827 pups for Levi, so he put quite a few on the ground. 63 of them made hunt champions. His last litter was actually in February of 2015, so we got to think that there was some insemination going on there somewhere.
Yeah, you would think so. Northern Blue Levi was a pretty big name back in the day, middle 90s. Did a lot of winning himself. Grand Night Champion Causes Spare Time Spanky, probably one of the most famous Purina series blueticks. Always heard a lot about Causes Spare Time Spanky. He was a Grand Night Champion born in 1986, bred by Scott Seavright. He was off of Grand Night Champion Russ's Tree and Blue Luke and Junkyard Blue Pig, last owned by Dave Dean. That was the late Dave Dean of Dowling, Michigan over here. 909 pups off of Spanky. 62 of them were hunt champions. Last litter was registered here not too long ago in August of 2023. So talking about semen, here's one, that
got some pups on.
Yeah.
Young dogs out there.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what that litter might be.
Yeah.
Causes Spare Time Spanky, 8th on our list.
And just to clarify real quick, I put the last owners on all these dogs. I know there's some other owners that are probably synonymous with each of these dogs. Didn't want to put a whole owner history here. Just put the last owner on there, just to make it clean for us. 9th place here, Grand Night Champion Tucker's Blue Boomer. Actually, one of the more recent dogs on here, born in April of 2007, bred by Terry Tucker out of Night Champion Quinn, Southern Blue Thunder, and Christian's Blue Gretchen, owned by Terry Tucker out of Albion, Michigan. 326 pups, so not a ton of pups, but 61 of them made hunt champions. His last litter was June of 2018, so got some 7-year-olds running around somewhere.
There you go. Boomer, he was the real deal. Terry did a lot of winning with that dog, too. Tied for 10th here, the last two. Field Champion, Grand Night Champion, Grand Champion, Vining Runnin' Bullet. He was a 1993 model bred by Warren and Joan Hoslauer out of Night Champion Smoky River JBS Chief. There's Chief again. Grand Night Champion Smoky River Crazy's Blue Fly. Was last owned by Roger and Lee Smith of Fort Towson, Oklahoma. 457 pups out of Bullet, 57 of which are hunt champions. Last litter registered in 2018. The Vining Runnin' Bullet.
And coincidentally, tied for 10th with actually a pup out of Bullet here. We have Dual Grand Twin Springs Runnin' Bullet 2. And this dog was born in September of 2001, bred by Lee Smith. Out of, obviously, Vining Runnin' Bullet, who we just talked about, and Grand Night Champion Smoky River Jeans Blue June, last owned by, again, Lee Smith, and it looks like his address is Hugo, Oklahoma. 479 pups, 57 hunt champions. His last litter, January of 2019, so both of them kind of have some recent litters.
Tied with his sire, ironically. So there you go. So let's look at some sires from that did well this last year in 2024, starting with the top sire, 15 pups championed out or titled out this last year alone off a Grand Night Champion Racket Ridge Crash. He's a 2015 model off of Goodson's Rowdy Bo Cephas, and the mother is a dual grand Illinois Smoky River Bobby. Rocky and Riley Cundiff are the owners of that dog out of Hodgenville, Kentucky. Again, 15 pups this year, puts his total up to 25 titled dogs for Racket Ridge Crash. Number 1 last year, Blue Ticks.
Our second place dog here is a dog we've heard a lot about the past 5, 6, 7 years, and this is Grand Night Champion Walson's Blue Big Country. Country was born in December of 2012 out of, again, Grand Night Champion Goodson's Rowdy Bocephus, and this time dual Grand Shelton's Noxie. Owners on our record for the dog are John Strickland and Ashley Oxendine. John Strickland in Kentucky, Ashley Oxendine over on the East Coast in North Carolina.
Yep.
He actually had 7 dogs title out this year to bring his total to 53. To kind of put that in perspective, 57 was a cutoff for our top ever, so it wouldn't surprise me if this time next year when we make this list, we may see a new addition to the top ever list.
Third place, Grand Champion Blue Creek Get Hooked. He was a 2014 model sired by dual Grand Blue Creek Gage, and the mother was a night champion Blue Creek Alice. I remember both of those dogs, very, very good hounds, the sire and the dam both in their own right. Ronnie Jackson, Dan Rainville of Lisbon, Ohio were the owners of Get Hooked. 5 puppies this last year. That puts her total at 20 for Blue Creek Get Hooked.
And fourth place here, we have Grand Night Champion Hall of Fame Rock Creek Country Club. This dog was born in November of 2017, has done a pile of winning in a lot of major events and all across the country. Out of actually Big Country, who we just mentioned, and Night Champion Riley and Ivan's Blue Fancy, owners of Country Club, or as they call him, Dink, or Terry Tappy and Matt Lingo. Terry's in Montpelier, Indiana. Had 3 dogs title out this year to bring their total up to 10, and he's still pretty relatively new to the breeding pen, so pretty impressive numbers thus far.
There you go. And then you had 14 other sires with multiple titled dogs that titled this last year.
So we can shift gears to the females a little bit, and we'll start out with the top females ever as far as number of hunt champion dogs produced. And the first one is Night Champion, Grand Champion, Spring Hill Blue Jenny, a dog born in May of 1998, bred by Dave Jenkins. And this dog, Jenny, was out of Night Champion Splash Creek Blue Mule and Champion Slash Creek Blue Maggie. Last owned by Tony Clevenger over in Dandridge, Tennessee. Out of the 74 pups that she put on the ground, 23 of them made hunt champion, and her last litter was back in March of 2006.
Number 2 is the dog that I just talked about a little bit ago, Night Champion Blue Creek Alice. There she is, sits number 2, born in October of 2009, bred by Brent Bissell and Dan Rons from up here in Michigan, out of Grand Night Champion Tucker's Blue Boomer, who we talked about earlier, and Grand Night Champion B&D's Blue Ruby. I've hunted with all 3 of those dogs before, and all very nice dogs. Nice, good family of dogs right here. Last owned by Mr. Bob Tully, Micah Shepard, and Dan Rainville of North Lawrence, Ohio. I think that's probably Bob Tully's address. 49 pups off of Alice. 22 of them are hunt champions. That is a pretty good reproduction record right there. Pretty good percentage. Last litter was registered in 2018. Blue Creek Alice.
Third place overall for Blue Tick females is Grand Night Champion Prairie Creek Blue Josie. Josie put 43 pups on the ground, 18 of them making hunt champions. She was born back in November of 2005 and was bred by William and Jared Byard out of Byard's Blue Bow and Byard's Blue Sioux Girl, and was last owned by Jason Schulte up in Walford, Iowa, and Brian Beber. Her last litter was put on the ground in October of 2015. There's Blue Josie.
Fourth, B&D's Blue Ruby, just mentioned her a little bit ago. She makes 4th on the list. She was a Grand Night Champion born in March of 2005, bred by Sandra Motherall and Erica Kitchen out of Grand Night Champion B&D's Blue Spike and Twilight Blue Poison Ivy. Last owned by Brent Bissell and Dan Rons of Vestaburg, Michigan. 46 pups, 17 hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 2012, but that's all those dogs in that pedigree were nice dogs. I hunted with her sire and dam both as well, Ivy and Spike. Spike was no doubt a tough blue tick hound. He wasn't. I remember they'd come down to our club a lot with Spike, and he was a winning fool. Remember some of the local Walker legends. You know, they talk good about Old Spike.
That goes a long ways if they're talking
yeah,
good about him.
Yeah. Dick Brothers and some of those. I remember Dick said he used to always say he liked Old Spike. Spike was the real deal. As was Ruby, and the mother here, Twilight Blue Poison Ivy, too. She was the real deal as well.
No accident there, sounds like. I got a couple here tied for 5th place. The first one, Night Champion Tree Slammin' Blue Lady. Lady was born in May of 2000 and bred by Jason Collar out of Northern Blue Jet 5. There he is again. And Night Champion Badlands Blue Lady 2. Last owners on record, Jody Nichols of Jackson, Michigan. 48 pups, 16 of them made hunt champion. Last litter in August of 2007. For females, there's not really, after that last litter, there's not much you can do about it since then. So a lot of these are going to be their final numbers unless they're recent, but really impressive record there.
That is, Tree Slammin' Blue Lady was a dog that ran the Prina series and won a lot. She was a tough female, was fast, and she was tough to beat right there and won a lot. Tied for 5th, Grand Night Champion Davis's White River Sailin' Sadie. I think we've heard that name before. I think I saw her in one of my first, wasn't the first one, but one of the first
2006
world, one of the second world championship, I guess, up here at UKC 18 years ago now, 18 or 19 years. Born in July of 2001, bred by Lonnie Smiley and Belinda Joslin off of dual grand champion Smiley's Blue Rambo 2, and the mother was Grand Night Champion Davis's White River Sugar. Was last owned by Mark Vandeventer and Doug Lay of Sullivan, Illinois. 55 pups off of White River Sailin' Sadie. 16 of them made hunt champions. Her last litter was registered in May of 2010.
Never fails to amaze me how often we see repeats on not only dogs but breeders and owners. Just goes to show the staying power of some of these lines out there.
Yeah, just to kind of paint a picture a little bit, Sailin' Sadie was actually in that final cast with the 2005 world champion, and but yeah, she was a nice little dog. Yep. Nice little dog.
We have several here tied for 7th that actually round out our top 10. First one, Night Champion, Grand Champion Uchman's Blue Cheater. Dog born in May of 1980, so all the way back in 1980. Bred by Orby May out of Night Champion, Grand Champion Rankin's Blue Lead and Night Champion, Grand Champion May's Blue Clipper. Cheater had 50 pups on the ground and 15 of them made hunt champion. And her last litter all the way back in August of 1987, but she still remains on this list.
Also tied for 7th here, the next one, Grand Night Champion Sioux Valley Fly 2. Born in December of 1986, bred by Larry Stark off of Night Champion Hoosier Blue CC Joe and Night Champion Sioux Valley Fly. Was last owned by Mr. Ed Mead up here in Michigan and Larry Stark, Albion, Michigan. Actually, 56 puppies, 15 of which were hunt champions. Last litter registered in 1997.
Well, she would have been near 11 years old then.
Yep, Sioux Valley Fly too.
Also here tied for 7th, Champion Night Champion Honey Run Becky. Dog born in December of 1994 out of a litter bred by Lewis Lemming. Out of, again here, Grand Night Champion Northern Blue Jet 5 and Night Champion Turkey Creek Mandy. Last owned by Bill Boldman Jr. and James McClary of Otway, Ohio. Got 49 pups on the ground. 15 of them made hunt champions. Last litter back in 2003.
Last dog on our list here, tied for 7th, Males Blue Rudy Sioux, born in October of 1995, bred by Corey Males. This dog is off of a Night Champion Smoky River JBS Chief. I've mentioned him about 3 or 4 times now. Night Champion Males Missouri Blue Rudy was his mother, or her mother. Last owned by Corey Males of Seneca, Missouri. 50 puppies, 15 hunt champions. Last litter registered in July of 2007. Males Blue Rudy Sioux.
And when we talk about the top blue tick females now of the past year, surprisingly enough, the most that was titled this past year was 2 pups from each of the females. And we have several here, a pretty lengthy list here of dogs that are all tied with 2 pups each. So we'll kind of run through them here real quick. Night Champion Tim's Blue Luis, a April 2016 model out of Grand Night Champion Tim's Blue Iron Will 2 and Grand Night Champion Tim's Blue Shotzi. Owned by Brian Moore of Bloomington, Indiana. 2 this year, 7 total.
Freeman's Timber Subi, 2012 model, sired by dual Grand Champion South Shore Dr. Blue RJ, and the mother was Grand Night Champion Pine Creek Queen Bee. Carrie Rooks of Fort Valley, Georgia is listed as the owner, brings her total to 4.
I didn't know he was a blue tick man.
He is not colorblind.
Likes them all.
He probably has. He likes them all as long as they're good. Yep. He'll buy them. If you want to sell them, he'll buy a good one. Kerry Rooks.
Also here we have Grand Night Champion Coates Ball Creek Too Tough Betty 2, a dog born in November of 2012 out of Dual Grand Vernon's Blue Mountain Banjo HTX2 and Dual Grand Coates Ball Creek Blue Squirt, owned by Terry Bennett of Marshfield, Missouri. 2 this year, 3 total.
Night Champion Hat Creek Blue Pearl, 2014 model. Grand Night Champion Smoking Big Britches is the sire. The mother is Night Champion McDonald's Hat Creek Blue Katie. Richie McDonald of Wooster, Ohio is the owner. 2 pups. He's champion out this year off of her, bringing her total up to 3 now.
Also, we have Ramblin' Blue Sally here, also with 2 this year and 3 total. Sally, born in January of 2015 out of Grand Night Champion Ramblin' Blue Hillbillies Patch and Meads Blue Hope, owned by Joseph Vagatsky of Warrenton, Virginia.
Kaskaskia River Blue Sneakers is a 2015 model. Grand Night Champion Moses Pink Floyd is the sire. The mother is Kaskaskia River Blue Dizzy. That's also a Grand Night, owned by Mark Vandeventer of Sullivan, Illinois. Also gives her a total of 3 now.
Next here we have Night Champion Blue Creek Psycho Pickles, a dog born in March of 2018 out of Dual Grand Blue Creek Gage and Night Champion Blue Creek Alice, owned by Dustin Robertson, Joshua Paul Tolley, and Riley Kersey up in Dundee, Ohio. 2 this year, 3 total as well for Pickles.
Night Champion, Confirmation Champion, Water Champion, Grand Field Champion, Grand Champion. That's probably the most decorated title dog we've seen. And who else? Hogan's Naughty. 2014 model off of a very Confirmation Champion, Grand Water Champion, Grand Night Champion, Grand Field Champion, Grand Champion. Mad Dog Psycho Sid HTX. Mother was Grand Champion Rocky Hills Whiskey Lullaby. Lee Hogan of Rudolph, Wisconsin. 2 puppies this year, and that's the only 2 has now on the resume, but there you go.
Got another Oochman dog here, Night Champion Oochman's Clear Fork Blue Bell. Born in April of 2015, this hound's out of Dual Grand Oochman Clear Fork Blue Thorn and Night Champion Crooked Creek's Hunting Diamond. Gary Oochman owns this dog out of Gainesville, Missouri, and Bell has 2 titled pups this year and 2 total.
So the last dog we have on the list is the Night Champion Phillips Brandy, a 2016 model off of Grand Night Champion Meads Blue Jet 10. Swampland Tiny was the mother. Scott Phillips and Paul Kiefer of Springport, Michigan are listed as the owners. 2 pups this year, and now the only 2 on her offspring.
Yeah, so that wraps it up for our blue ticks. Impressive list there on both sides. Alan, you've been feeding Eukanuba dog feed for a while now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have, and I've really been able to put my beagles to the test, mainly running snowshoe hare up north where they run the hardest, where I put 15, 20, 25 miles on them easily in a day. And I've found that the premium performance sport has really paid dividends. Mainly, I noticed their stamina.
Yeah, same feed that I've been feeding. I think my dog looks good on it. He's really feeling good, and less kennel cleanup for me, so I highly recommend it as well.
Eukanuba, the official performance dog nutrition partner of UKC.
All right, now let's take a look at our American Leopard Hounds, and we'll start out with our top males ever. And you got to remember, this is kind of a fairly new breed on the scene here. So, and our top male ever is a dog that did quite a bit of winning, is probably known more for its winning record than maybe its reproduction record. But here we go. Dual Grand Keen's Big Moose. That's a dog born back in January of 2015, bred by John Carlack when he made a cross between Water Champion, Field Champion, Dual Grand, Riley's Flathead Valley Bolt HTX, and Champion Carlack's Grace. Last owner, Jason Keene, down in Richlands, Virginia. 149 pups on the ground here for Moose. 7 of them have made hunt champion. His last litter back in September of 2020, so they're probably still floating around some out there.
That's good to see. He bred quite a few females, obviously, with that. And his sire, Flathead Valley Bolt, was a dog we saw in our trials or in our coonhounds a lot, and he was holding his own too.
Absolutely.
His daddy was, and obviously Moose is doing the same thing there for Jason Keene. Second, Night Champion Sparks High Plains Yeti. This is a dog born in 2012, bred by Alan Sparks, off of a Night Champion dog named Sparks High Plains Kiwi, and the Night Champion Grand Champion Sparks High Plain Crayon. Was last owned by Dobbin Ray of Ashland City, Tennessee. 136 pups on the ground, 6 of which are hunt champions. Last litter was registered in October of 21. High Plains Yeti.
This next dog here in third place is kind of a reason I wanted to do it this way rather than look at our reproducers list, just because it probably wouldn't meet some of our parameters as far as number of total pups and things like that. But we have Night Champion Lakers Speed here in third place. Speed was born all the way back in May of 1994. So talking about in the history of the Leopard Hound being registered in UKC, it was far before that, and owned by Rex Laker of Danville, Illinois. And you hear that dog, or you hear that name a lot associated with the leopard breed. Speed, 21 pups that were registered with us. 5 of them were hunt champions, and his last litter was back in June of 2003. So probably long gone by now, but what an impressive here.
Yeah, Rex was one of the guys that came over with when they were still registered as curs.
Oh, gotcha.
So he was very much involved with that transition with UKC and such, and he's kind of a quiet guy. But this Lakers Speed dog, he did quite a bit of winning before they came to UKC. But. Nevertheless, he had, he was a pretty well-known dog at that time for sure. Grand Night Champion, Grand Champion by Faith, coat of many colors, HTX. Kind of a highly decorated leopard dog here, born in December of 2006, bred by Mr. Lamar Meeks of Georgia. He was off of Meeks's Lone Ranger and Meeks's Southern Becky. Last owned by Eric Fussell of Carrollton, Georgia. This dog sired 41 pups, 4 hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 2014 by Faith, coat of many colors. I thought that was a female for a while until I learned otherwise. Yeah, I think it was just the name, I guess, coat of many colors.
Yeah. As you see Eric's name a lot, we've seemed like we've mentioned that a couple of times in our past couple of days' episodes. But also here, tied for 4th, we have Gannis's Hoosier Blue Jug. This dog was born back in March of 2001, and we don't have the dam listed, but we do know he was out of the famous Wicks Camo Jug, owned last by Daniel Minton in Alton, Iowa. Jug's record shows 70 pups being sired, with 4 of them being hunt champions, and his last litter was back in 2014.
There you go. Daniel was also one of the first ones involved with the transition from the curs over to the hound, making the hound breed. Also tied for 4th, Sparks High Plains Splinter, born in 2013, bred by Reddy Connor, off of a little night champion dog named Little River Black Thunder, and Stonewall Lightning Storm was the mother. Owned by Alan Sparks of New Tazewell, Virginia. Had 11 pups total, 4 of them which were hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 2014. New Tazewell, Virginia. I've been there already. Stopped there and picked up some tickets to a NASCAR race one time to go to the NASCAR race there up there in,
Bristol?
Bristol, yeah. Old Mr. Myers there lived there, but I remember we got out there to get the tickets, and I looked around and I thought, man, I'm not sure I would coon hunt if I lived in New Tazewell.
That's a fact.
But that's where this dog was from, yeah.
This dog here, let's see, tied for, we got several here tied for 7th place. First one we'll mention is Night Champion McDill's Johnny Reb, a dog born back in October of 2002 out of, again, Wicks Camo Jug and McDill's Bell, cross made by W. Douglas Garver. And actually, Douglas Garver was the last owner of Reb here. He's out of Brandon, Mississippi. Out of the 74 pups that he sired, 3 of them made hunt champions, and his last litter was in January of 2012.
Another one making our list here with 3 titled dogs. Night Champion, Grand Champion Keystone Care Bear was also bred by Rex Laker. This dog was born in 2010 off of King's Crazy Black Bear, and his mother was Back in Time Bess. Was last owned by Hubert Vanderhoff Jr. of Spartansburg, Pennsylvania. Saw this dog at the World Hunt a time or two, and Autumn Oaks, other events. He brought this dog and did all right with him. 84 pups, 3 hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 2020.
Another one here tied for 7th was actually a sire of one of our top dogs up there. I think the second place dog, and this is night champion Sparks High Plains Kiwi. And now we get to hear about Kiwi a little bit. This dog was born in October of 2011 out of a cross made by Doug Hinton when he crossed Hinton's Smut and Myers Bone Hollow Phoenix. Last owner we have on record for Kiwi is Logan Nugent of Fayetteville, West Virginia. 19 pups sired, 3 of them made hunt champions, so a pretty good percentage there. And Fayetteville, West Virginia, another place I may not be coon hunting at if I lived up.
Yeah, and probably I'm going to bet here. I don't have any stats to back it up, but I'm just going to bet this next dog here probably has more cast wins in UKC than any other Leopard Hound, probably, I would bet. Dual Grand Champion Ripley Rivers Lucky Luke. This dog was born in 2011, bred by Mark Dresty. He was off of a dog named Evercry Whiskey, and the mother was Evercry Zeppelin. Last owned by Ralph Fussnecker and Greg Nussbaumer of Georgetown, Ohio. 65 pups for this dog. 3 of them are hunt champions. Last litter was registered about 5 years ago, 2020. But yeah, we saw this dog a lot, and he held his own. He was, I don't know how many times he was the national grand champion at Autumn Oaks, but at least 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah. I was actually there on the cast with him at Leopard Days the night that he got hit on a road, and he did a good job on a coon, looked good.
Yeah.
Actually got around there, and anybody who says leopards don't hunt out very far, they had never hunted with this hound. He hunted out far and still won that cast.
Mm-hmm.
Got hit after the cast was over,
Oh, yeah.
so he went out on a winning streak. Let's look at the top leopard males of this past year. So we're talking about the year of 2024, and a couple of them here tied for first. They each just had one this year. First, we have dual grand, actually Grand Night Champion 3, Burt's North Carolina Gold Rush. A dog here out of a couple of dogs I think we might have mentioned already. Sparks High Plains Splinter, that's a newer one, and Night Champion, Grand Champion Sparks High Plain Cran. Born in May of 2014 and owned by Mr. Wayne Bowman. He's down in Whitwell, Tennessee. Rush, one titled pup this year to make his total 2.
And another one, Gamble's Big River Boone, a 2011 model. He was out of McDill's Johnny Reb and McDill's Pretty Girl. Ephraim and Haley Kreisman out of Sylvia, North Carolina, owned this dog. Also had a dog that titled this last year, and the first one on his record for Big River Boone.
Yeah, kind of funny. All 3 of the dogs here out of dogs that'll be on this list here. Also tied here with one pup this year, Deep South Black Diamond, born in April of 2013, and he's out of the Gannis's Hoosier Blue Jug dog we talked about, and Cypress Break Bell, owned by Chase Noland of Tallulah, Louisiana.
Tallulah.
There we go.
I think, yeah. Yeah, so that covers your top males from last year, and moving on to the top males or females ever here. But the first one on the list is a name we mentioned several times going down through, a dog named Crayon. Night Champion, Grand Champion Sparks High Plain Crayon. 2009 model, born in August of 2009, bred by Mr. Earl Wright. She was off of Wright's Ben and Wright's Little Lady, was last owned by Wayne Bowman of Whitwell, Tennessee. 41 puppies off of Crayon, 8 titled dogs. Last litter was registered in 2018. High Plain Crayon. Makes your number 1 spot on the list.
Man, impressive percentage there. I wouldn't have thought that high of a percentage there. Second place here, McDill's Pretty Girl. Born in June of 2002, bred by John and Randy McDill. Sire is unknown in our system, but the dam was Lewis's Cheetah. Last owner on record was, again, Douglas Garver of Brandon, Mississippi. 50 pups on the ground for girl, 5 hunt champions. Her last litter was back in 2007.
Third on our list, Keen's Miss Camo Wick, born in 2016, bred by Penny Johnson over here in Michigan, and she was off of Johnson's Camo Wick and Johnson's Camo Dixie. Last owned by Jason Keene of Richlands, Virginia. Mentioned him. He had the Moose Dog. She had 10 pups on the ground, 3 of them, 3 that are hunt champions. Last litter was registered in 2018. But Miss Camo Wick, Johnson's Camo Wick, the sire. I had a pup off of old Johnson's Camo Wick as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. We actually had 11 tied for 4th place. So I want to at least mention their names. We won't go through all their history and all that stuff. But we have SF Rardin Slough Creek Brownie, owned by Archie Rardin of Polo, Missouri. Lakers Bobby Girl, owned by Rex Laker of Danville, Illinois. Grand Champion Skyline Myrtle, owned by Jim Hill of Council Hill, Oklahoma. Gannis's Floyd River Gabby, owned by Daniel Minton of Alton, Iowa. Dual Grand Circle M Grace, owned by Matthew Ambergy of Whitesburg, Kentucky. Black Ridge Cali, owned by Hubert Vanderhoff Jr. of Spartanburg, Pennsylvania. Goins Wicks Camo Jug Double Judy, owned by Donald Ray of Ashland City, Tennessee. Bose Camo Cleo, owned by Dean Beauchamp of Alexander, Maine. Water Champion Boaster's Smokin' Skinny Bones, owned by Bill Boaster of Hoyleton, Illinois. NNF Smith's Pickles, owned by Ralph Fussnecker and Greg Nussbaumer of Georgetown, Ohio. And Grand Champion Possum Creek Loctite Gin, owned by Mark Barber of Gate City, Virginia.
So there's your top females ever. Ready to talk about look at some females from this last year? Looks like we had 3 on the list that had dogs that had, or females who had dogs that titled out. All with 1 each, I guess. So starting here with Soak Creek Daisy May. She was a 2020 model off of Grand Champion Soak Creek J.P. Bachman and Soak Creek Mud Cricket. Clementine and Chuck Slattery of Spring City, Tennessee owned this dog, Daisy May.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a while. Hope to see them at some events this year. Also here tied for first with 1, we have Night Champion, Grand Champion, Posted Lamb Swamp Cat. Born in October of 2012, this dog's out of Night Champion Sparks High Plains Kiwi and Night Champion Grand Champion Sparks High Plain Cran. So a litter mate to the second place dog up there up top, owned by Bill Tuck of Jasper, Tennessee.
Then you also have Deep South Sally Gal, a 2018 model. Cypress Break Scout is her sire, and her mother is Gurley Creek Clinch Mountain Ruby. Mr. Wayne Bowman of Whitewell, Tennessee, also made this list with 1 pup this last year. Deep South Sally Gal.
And that puts a wrap on the leopards there. See a lot of the same names again, so it may give you an idea of who to go see if you're wanting a good leopard hound.
Thank you for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow so you don't miss any of our new episodes or content.